in goal. Will be tested by the likes of Pogba, Vidal, Llorente, and Tevez as Marcos Portiello's just 22 years old. The ball rolls at the Atleti Azzurri d'Italia as we get this Week 5 encounter underway. Atalanta moving left to right. The Bianconeri, right to left on your screen. I'm Andres Cordero alongside Ian Joy. Well, 23 consecutive games in which Juventus have scored against Atalanta. Will they make it 24 today? This is Chiellini. Up top to Llorente. Carlos Tevez in possession. He'll play wide with Lichtsteiner. As Arturo Vidal in support as well. The Centennial man, Arturo Vidal, his 100th match. Over the top, looking for Vidal, but harmlessly out for a goal kick, and Sportiello will get us restarted.
Well, I'm actually very surprised already with Juventus' lineup gone into this match. They've got a very difficult week coming up. Some strong fixtures ahead of them. But with the 11 that Allegri's chosen today, really surprised to see how strong this 11 is. And I think, obviously, under the influence of the challenge at the top of the table in Italy, the domestic league is so important for Juventus to continue as champions.
A quick recap of both 11. Sportiello in goal, a backline for Atalanta of Zappacosta, Biava, Benalouan, and Bukhari Drame. In midfield, it's Carlos Carmona and Daniele Baselli, flanked by Estigarribia and Gomez. And up top, Boakye and Herman Dennis for Juve and Max Allegri. It's Ogbonna, Bonucci, and Chiellini in front of Gigi Buffon. Marchisio, Vidal, and Pogba in central midfield roles with Lichtsteiner and Evra wide, and Llorente and Tevez up top. Under pressure from Ogbonna. This is laid off for Baselli. Baselli finds Zappacosta. Room to work with. The early cross is in. It was intended for Boakye, deflected upwards. Still in possession. Denny's opportunity just buzzing by from Daniele Baselli. First shot of the match for Atalanta.
That's a good strike. And what a wonderful build-up. That's a lovely run from Zappacosta, and as it falls just ever so kindly, this is a lovely strike. Really troubled Buffon. Baselli's got that in his locker. Great reputation that he's building for himself. Not too far away from finding the opening goal.
Well, last week, or last round, midweek on Wednesday, Juventus trouncing Cesena 3-0. A brace by Vidal, 85th minute exclamation point by Lichtsteiner. And here comes Atalanta. Herman Dennis settles. Back to goal, looking to churn. And cross intended for Boakye, low, across the 6 and cleared away.
Oh, well done, Atalanta. This is a positive start that they would have wanted against the champions. Great defending from that man right there. Ogbonna in the right place to clear a danger.
Atalanta, meanwhile, suffering a 2-0 loss at midweek to Inter. Former Juve man Osvaldo getting on the score sheet there as Hernandez would make it 2-0. Always an active figure on the sideline, Max Allegri. Here's Vidal with Ogbonna. Forward for Carlos Tevez. Tevez has Lichtsteiner. Decides to turn inside with Vidal. Played forward to Llorente. Excellent with his back to goal is Fernando Llorente. The prototypical target man. Also very good with his feet. Here's Patrice Evra. Pogba. Chance for Chiellini, who's way up top and finds Fernando Llorente. In an offside position was Evra. Llorente smartly playing it back to Pogba. Good misdirection over the top for Vidal. Evra thinks about the cross. Goes across to Arturo Vidal onto his right foot. Tucked in and intercepted. Good anticipation from Alejandro Gomez, the Argentine, playing it forward for Herman Dennis.
Oh, well done, Chiellini again. And a great possession, but Juventus trying to be patient, conceding possession of the ball too many times to Atalanta, who've started the match very positive.
Well, a strong challenge from Paul Pogba, a bit too strong according to Orsato.
I think sometimes, Andres, the atmosphere inside the stadium can lead to challenges like that from Pogba, where you just lose your control.
And Boakye head down, sprinting forward, but dispossessed brilliantly by Lichtsteiner. given away cheaply by a man who's having a very good season for Juve. Zappacosta playing it forward. Here's Estigarribia. And the willingness to pass early from Atalanta.
Yeah, very much so. Very easy on the eye.
Drame. We'll switch flanks to Zappacosta. Back toward the middle. Carlos or Baselli. Again, it's Bukhari Drame. Patient approach, patient build-up from Atalanta. Drame under pressure from Vidal does well to sidestep the Chilean international, and the cross makes its way to the other side, but harmlessly. Estigarribia tracking it down.
Oh, what a great delivery that is. Again, it's about the patient build-up you just mentioned there. Atalanta are going to have to be patient, but it's difficult to break down this very strong Juventus defence. No one's yet scored against them.
Well, they began the day top of the table, Juve. Since been overtaken by Roma, but only provisionally so. They take care of their business here at Atalanta. They'll be back atop the Serie standings. Brought down. Zappacosta. The cross was on with a sliding challenge from Chiellini. Committed to the tackle.
That's a good challenge from Chiellini, but you've got to be impressed with the start that Atalanta have had on this right-hand side. Zappacosta has done an excellent job of getting forward, causing all sorts of problems.
Well, Pogba causing a few problems on that throw-in. Here's Fernando Llorente. It's taken down by Giuseppe Biava, but no call from Orsato, and Atalanta play on. Carlos Carmona, the Chilean, slips as he sends the ball forward, and perhaps that's why it did not get to Zappacosta. Chiellini wants to slow the pace down.
Well, I just wonder if Atalanta have worked on this on the training ground, knowing that it's a possibility Allegri might switch out Asamoah on that left-hand side with Evra coming in, not playing as many 90 minutes as he would have liked to have done throughout the course of the campaign so far. Try and test him on that right-hand side for Atalanta going forward.
Switched over to Patrice Evra, who's got Carlos Tevez. Tevez, the cross, back post. Pogba was trying to meet it, and it's Arturo Vidal. Switching flanks once again. Here's Carlos Tevez. Need footwork from Carlitos, and they'll win the corner. A goal kick, says Daniele Orsato, as it comes off the Argentine. Interestingly enough, the two Argentine strikers in this contest, Herman Dennis and Carlos Tevez. Remember a game last season where Dennis brought his son to the game. His son was asked, is your dad the best, your favorite striker in Serie A? He said, no, Tevez.
Yeah, you can't really fault the kid, can you? Wonderful talent it is, Carlos Tevez.
Paul Pogba wins the aerial challenge. The ball still to be won in midfield. Fernando Llorente does so. Here's Arturo Vidal. The through ball is on for Lichtsteiner. Thought about the early cross, hesitates. Llorente wins the ball again inside the area. Plays like he has a force field around him, Fernando Llorente. Vidal back to Chiellini.
Vidal looks like he's on his game. Very sharp in the early stages of this match, just picking up possession. That's a poor pass conceded there for Juve going forward, but Vidal has got a real spring in his step.
Boosted by his two-goal performance in midweek, one from the spot, one from the run of play. Back from injury now, and absolutely crucial piece of this Juve side. In some ways, the perfect start made all the more impressive by the fact that Andrea Pirlo has been missing, that Arturo Vidal hasn't been fit. Estigarribia plays that ball forward for Boaké. Juve looking to counter. Vidal over the top for Tevez. Bialba's there. Tevez wins the 50-50. On an island by himself now, Carlos Tevez gets a supporting run from Paul Pogba. Looking for that top corner, nowhere near it.
Well, it's unlucky from Carlos Tevez. He really had to go solo in this opportunity. He had options at the top of your picture with Llorente and Lichtsteiner trying to make moves. Carlos Tevez has one thought in mind once he comes inside on that right foot. and that's to pull the trigger. Marked very closely by Biava, but not close enough to stop him from pulling the trigger.
Booted forward is Juve, maybe struggling a little bit for possession in the early going. 10 minutes down, and Atalanta certainly off to a good start. Stefano Coluntuano must be pleased with what he's seeing. Here's Fernando Llorente with his back to goal once again, but given up, and Estigarribia trying to spark the counter-attack. Marchisio, as the foul is called on Patrice Evra.
A sloppy challenge from Evra. And a good start for Juventus. I think they've weathered somewhat of a storm for the opening 3 or 4 minutes, where Atalanta were dominating possession, creating a few opportunities around the box. Dennis had a few nice touches, but it's very difficult to play in this atmosphere against a team that's firing high with confidence. You've got to make sure that you stand solid defensively, after this proven already this season, Juve.
Well, Zappacosta was looking for an opening. Low cross, giving up the corner. To recall games against clubs that would try and attack Juve early on. Juventus able to absorb a lot of the pressure and take over the game in the late stages. Call Roma and Inter and Milan all trying a proactive approach against Juventus and not having a ton of success. Here's Atalanta. Ball sent in by Alejandro Gomez, but Drame. Zappacosta coming all the way to the other side to recover. He'll reset with Sportiello. Roman Dennis down to Alejandro Gomez. Marked by Pogba.
That's better from the home side. Just trying to be patient is not easy to do when there's a lot of pressure on your side to try and get a victory, especially when you're playing against the champions. And so far they've done a decent job, Atalanta, when they've had the ball.
Looking to draw Juventus out. Still in possession here, Atalanta. As the ball is out to touch. Zappacosta very involved in the early going. There's Daniele Baselli, taken down by Paul Pogba, who doesn't think he did anything wrong, but Daniele Orsato disagrees.
Well, I just think he might have nipped the ball away here, Paul Pogba. He's gone for the player first and foremost, which the referee's seen. Good decision.
Patient start from both sides, making for a bit of a slow start to this one. And Atalanta don't look like a side willing to commit too many men forward. We've seen them reset, recycle position. Nearly a quarter of an hour in, and Juve still looking for their first shot on target. Chiellini will get us started. 7 goals scored and none conceded so far by Juventus this season, and only 2 on the board for Atalanta on the campaign. Paul Pogba just lets it get away from him. Here's Evra. Tevez, as Juve starting to circulate the ball a bit quicker now. All the way back for Ogbonna. Center backs always in support for Juve. Ogbonna from a long way out. Oh, it was a hopeful shot from Ogbonna, and it sails over the crossbar.
I think we can safely call this one a centre-back's finish from Ogbonna. A little rush of blood to the head, but why not try from distance? As you just said there, it's been frustrating for Juventus trying to get those strikes on target. They're going to have to be patient in the first 45 minutes, similar to what it was like against Cesena in midweek. They had to be very patient, waiting for their opportunity to pounce and get that opening goal, but it eventually came.
Well, one in the air. So far, the midfield battle very much up for grabs. Both sides struggling to control that central area. And here's Ogbonna now for Juve. All the way back, Gigi Buffon. And Chiellini. Forwards for Paul Pogba. After the deflection, Pogba thought about going wide to Patrice Evra, cuts back inside. It's onto his right foot, looking to lob it over for Arturo Vidal, who made the slashing run into the area. Recovered here by Lichtsteiner. Marquisio plays the ball forward in between 3 Juve players. No one makes a play at it. Lichtsteiner. All the mobility of a cigar store wooden Indian, but he is a fantastic footballer. Cleared away, a chance for the counterattack for Atalanta. A little bit hesitant. Here's Herman Dennis. Waited for the support. It arrives in the form of Estigarribia. The overlapping run by Zappacosta. Estigarribia takes a shot himself. Nothing doing.
Well, he's looking for options around him, Estigarribia, when he picks up possession of the ball coming inside on the left foot. I figured why not have a little crack at goal. All the trouble seems to be coming from Atalanta's right-hand side. A lot of players drifting over very comfortably on the right-hand side as they go forward.
Well, Fernando Llorente looking the wrong way. Somehow Juventus still end up with it. Here's Paul Pogba. We'll switch flanks to Lichtsteiner. Atalanta back in position. Making sure there's no passing lanes, but Carlos Tevez looking to create some. Vidal feints with the left foot over to Evra. Evra with the cross, back post. Llorente is there, gets ahead on it. Paul Pogba wrestling. Pogba still in. And here's Carlos Tevez. Gets the shot off. Hits off Pogba. And a handball is called against.
What a chance.
The Frenchman.
What's a chance. Lovely cross from Evra. Llorente does ever so well just to head the ball back into a danger zone. And then Pogba does even better to lay it off to Carlos Tevez, who's quickly closed down. But the strike from Tevez finds its way right onto the hand of Paul Pogba. There's nothing he can do about it. It's a good chance gone begging for Juve.
And I think Marquisio has a point here, as Paul Pogba just brings his arms up toward his chest to protect himself. And the referee very quick with the whistle.
That's a good opportunity there for Juventus, with Pogba finding himself in a great position. And he had the opportunity to bring the ball down under control immediately. He could have had a snapshot strike at goal. Wasn't to be.
The throw in quicker than Orsato would have liked. There's an object that's been thrown onto the pitch. Darts, it appears. An object, several darts. A quick tire change in the pit stop for Paul Pogba as he appears to be switching shoes. Saw the laces undone. Maybe made the wrong decisions.
Well, you can see they've picked the molded shoes. Now switching over to studs. It looks like the surface is a little bit slippy. Understandably so. Now they're switching up so that they've got the bigger studs on there, get a better grip on the field. It's always tricky to pick the right footwear in conditions like this.
Oh, the Bergamaschi not appreciating the stop and play. And that is a handful of, I believe they're darts. Certainly pointed objects. Absolutely dangerous, and the game will continue. And Chiellini wins the aerial battle. The foul goes against Dennis.
You can't do much about this. A high boot close to the face from Bonucci. Good defending so far. Juventus' backline has been pretty strong, but Atalanta have impressed when they've had the ball. And without the ball, they've got back in numbers.
Well, central defender to central defender. Here's Chiellini. The diagonal pass, looking for a bit of width to Lichtsteiner. Dramé. It's going to get us restarted with the throw-in. Over to help out is Daniele Baselli. This time just booted forward. Over the top, play on, says the referee. Boakye in possession, lays it back. Juve win it back, but only momentarily. Over on the near side to Zappacosta, again very much involved in his first half. Baselli gives the ball away to Vidal. Vidal quickly out to Carlos Tevez. It's Tevez against 3. Tevez trying to round Benalouan. An obstruction appears to be the call. And a yellow card for obstruction for Benalouan.
That's a silly foul from Benalouan. There's absolutely no reason to make that challenge. He's got support from Drame on the outside, who Carlos Tevez can't make his own pass. That's a ridiculous challenge. He should know better from that position as a centre-back, especially when you see the support is coming from Drame, who clearly had the pace on Carlos Tevez. Silly foul to concede, silly yellow card.
And it is the first booking of the game. Johan Benalouan in the referee's book. So the chance now from some distance for Juventus. Again, no Andrea Pirlo. This might be even beyond his range. Carlos Tevez looks ominously over the ball. It is Tevez with the delivery, looking for the back post. Ogbonna was there, knotted down. Chiellini fighting to win the ball inside the area. It's far back and given away by Patrice Evra.
Oh, that was fortunate from Evra.
Tevez didn't want to take any chances. Instead, ends up giving the ball away again. Well, Juve fortunate to have not paid the price for that. Here's Paul Pogba against 2. Pogba. Arturo Vidal, the feint, and eventually does pull the trigger. Sportiello watches it sail high and wide.
Well, Juventus have been frustrated so far. As you see Vidal strike from distance, it really was a disappointing effort. But that's what they've been limited to. Strikes outside the box, crosses coming into the box.
And brought down once again, Atalanta in control. Here's Carmona playing it off. And Paul Pogba appears to be in some pain. Atalanta fans held up paper tanks last season. This season it appeared to be paper airplanes making their way onto the pitch. Pogba comes up after the cleat change.
Well, he's come off the worst from that challenge with his own challenge. It really is an aggressive challenge from Paul Pogba. And he's the one who's come off worse for wear. But Juve can consider themselves a little bit lucky there from that last free kick. They'd invested a lot of bodies forward. And Patrice Evra almost giving away possession of the ball. Here's the challenge from Pogba. Didn't look like there was too much in it. Maybe the way he got back up onto the field.
Well, past the 20-minute mark now, a very disjointed start to this contest, both in terms of play and in stoppages. And Pogba will receive a bit of treatment as play continues with Juve down to 10 men. Sportiello finds Benalouan. Both fullbacks very much involved in the Atalanta attack, or at least in how they start possession from the back. Carmona back to Benalouan. Diagonally across the pitch for Zappacosta. Zappacosta beats Pogba. Tries to go around Patrice Evra and the cross off target.
Well, he certainly is the focal point for Atalanta's success so far going forward. Lovely switch of play from Benalouan. And this is not bad from Zappacosta. He's put himself into some great situations throughout the course of the match already. Having a lot of joy down the right-hand side.
Good pressure from Atalanta to win the ball back. There's a chance for Estigarribia across the mouth of goal and wide. No danger for Gigi Buffon.
Well, high pressure really pays off for Atalanta. They win the ball back. Jermaine Dennis pays the ball in, and Estigarribia's got one thought in his mind, and that's try to aim it towards that back post. See if he can sneak it inside the post. If not, hoping that someone can get on the end of it. It's more of a strike than a cross.
And Marcelo Estigarribia trying to pass the ball into the back of the net. Fernando Llorente comes off of the arm. Play on, it's incidental. And again, it's Zappacosta. Out to touch once again. A lot of action down this right side with Zappacosta. Estigarribia very much involved. And in fact, even Carmona more so than Basiali in the last few minutes. And Zappacosta with the throw-in. He's looking for Dennis. Knotted up and cleared away by Bonucci. Over the top, Fernando Llorente. Carlos Tevez struggling to settle it all the way back to Benaluan. Tevez tracking it down. Good touch by Benaluan.
Yeah.
And over the top of Fernando Llorente, which is easier said than done.
Yeah, great defending. Composed defending from Benaluan. Really impressed so far in the match. That's a great pass.
Chiellini too hard on the challenge, says Daniele Orsato. And a free kick awarded to Atalanta.
See, I'm not so sure if this is an aggressive foul from Chiellini in behind. He certainly makes contact at the back of the player, but I think it's a bad touch from Dennis, and he's just trying to get a foul from the referee, which it clearly looks like on the replay as well.
Well, not enough conviction from Orsato to show the yellow card, so perhaps didn't exactly see all of it. Here's Drame with Gomez. Back to Drame. And neat bit of footwork from Boukari Drame, but then given away to Fernando Llorente. Marquisio to Pogba. Tevez makes a diagonal run wide. Pogba goes the other way. Vidal. Carlos Tevez. Tevez looking to fire with the right foot. Lays it off instead to Marquisio and has that poked away. Estigarribia left something behind, and here's Carlos Tevez once again from the left. Tevez looking for the shot, finds the shot, but it's deflected into the arms of Sportiello. Powerfully driven hit by Tevez, but the deflection took plenty off the ball.
He's having a lot of success, Carlos Tevez, on this left-hand side for Juventus, picking up possession of the ball in a dangerous position, but every time he's trying to come inside on that right foot. And more often than not, what you're going to find is that defender happy to show him inside on the right foot and close him down quickly. You cannot underestimate Carlos Tevez at any time. At any given moment, he can go on his left-hand side and be in on goal.
Good turn by Estigarribia to control this. Here's Zappacosta. Oof. Strong challenge from Patrice Evra. No call from the referee. Fernando Llorente in possession. Llorente looking for options. Finds Marquisio, who has Vidal. Vidal the through ball to Lichtsteiner. He tracks it down. Just getting there. Crosses on for Lichtsteiner. Carlos Tevez. And Biava able to nod that away. Atalanta doing a good job of keeping Juventus away from the 18-yard box. There's Chiellini trying to help out in attack. Evra. The cross does find the foot of Tevez, left-footed, and nearly given up by Sportiello, who spills it toward the post.
Well, I think he's a little bit more relieved than anything else. Sportiello, lovely build-up again. And Carlos Tevez, it's a snapshot opportunity from the top of the box. Great build-up on the left-hand side. And the first touch just gets away from Carlos Tevez, but how about that for technique to pull off the strike?
A slow reaction from the young goalkeeper after spilling that ball onto the post. This has been a bit of a physical start to this game, but believe it or not, only the 8th foul. And again, 8 fouls in 30 minutes. Whistled by Daniele Orsato.
I have absolutely no idea how that went in favor of Juventus. You know, Boaki is just trying to hold up possession of the ball. Clearly, he's been leaned on by Bonucci. And yet Juventus win the free kick.
All the way back to Buffon, just to show you he's still there. Hasn't had to make a save of yet. Atalanta do have 4 shots, but so far have failed to hit the target. Chiellini. Rogbona under pressure from Alejandro Gomez. The ball bombed upfield. Marquisio to Carlos Tevez, who's always willing to return to midfield and help in possession. Here's Lichtsteiner. Flicked upfield to Vidal. We'll lay it back to Carlos Tevez. Chiellini. 2 of the 3 center backs always in a very advanced position for Juventus. In part because of the willingness from the likes of Evra and Lichtsteiner to track back. Here's intended for Pogba. Bonucci sends that ball forward, and Patrice Evra is giving it away. Well, another foul in midfield. This time it's Marchisio, and he will go in the referee's book. Marchisio, the second player in this match to be issued a yellow card, and the first for Juventus.
Oh, it's a sloppy challenge from Marchisio. Haven't seen him commit too many fouls in the match so far. The referee had no hesitation, regardless, to produce that yellow card. It hasn't been an aggressive match by any means, but there's been a lot of fouls already conceded by both teams.
Well, half hour gone. Atalanta 0, Juventus 0. We do invite you to visit us online at bnsports.tv. Check us out on Twitter, BN Sports USA, ESPN Sports. We're in the Spanish feed. Feel free to follow Ian Joy at Joy Paul Ian as well, and myself at Dre Cordero. Drame sends this ball forward for Boaké. Alejandro Gomez. One back by Baselli. And all the way back once again for Benalouan. Gomez. All 5'3" with magic feet. It's wide for Zappacosta. A good link up as he found Boaké and intended for Herman Dennis, but a little bit too strong for the Argentine, who tells him to settle down.
Excellent football from Atalanta this time. This is a brilliant pass in here from Zappacosta. Lovely link-up play. Herman Dennis just tries to make that run where he drifts away from his defender, looking for the ball over the top of that last defender. And Boaké can't find him. Unlucky, but good football.
Well, Lichtsteiner to Vidal. Arturo Vidal with Lichtsteiner. Ogbonna. Chiellini once again. Wide for Evra. Too often relying on the cross so far, Patrice Evra, and this time decides smartly to play it back toward midfield. Here's Lichtsteiner. Looking for options, Arturo Vidal. Forward for Carlos Tevez, a neat turn, Fernando Llorente. It's onto his left foot, he'll play it wide instead to Evra. The first time cross is low, and Paul Pogba unable to get a foot on the end of that. But maybe the most dangerous chance of the half for Juventus. Zappacosta sends it forward only as far as Chiellini. The sliding challenge from Arturo Vidal, unable to get there, and Boaké off to the races, but into the grasp of Buffon. Marchisio. Good ball upfield to Carlos Tevez. Tevez has Llorente. It's Tevez against three. Numbers made up now by Atalanta. Llorente again. Benalouan looking to dispossess him. Played back to Marchisio. Over the top for Lichtsteiner, and he gave up on his run. Not sure if Lichtsteiner thought he was offside here. As we take another look at the earlier first-time cross from Evra.
Yeah, great build-up. I think Evra's doing a great job of getting forward on that left-hand side, and it's a dangerous delivery, low and hard, hoping that somebody gets on the end of the cross. And so far, it's been a frustrating time for Juventus in front of Atalanta's goal. It only takes someone to get on the end of that cross from Evra, and we're 1-0 up.
Well, good for Atalanta that Benalouan was the man to get just the slightest bit of a touch, because Carlos Tevez was waiting at that back post. Oh, another foul. This one, Marchisio on the receiving end after picking up a yellow card for his previous foul. Chiellini. Llorente again with his back to goal. Tries to turn, Benalouan pokes it away. Carlos Tevez to give and go with Vidal. All the way back for the center.
Juventus need to do a better job of trying to get Lichtsteiner on the ball. If you look at the top of your picture, he's got a lot of space.
Chiellini over the top, looking for Paul Pogba. Can't quite see the ball. No foul from the referee. Estigarribia sends the ball forward, and one back again by Ogbonna. Kept in by Evra. How high up Ogbonna is. Here's Paul Pogba. Pogba to Tevez. Tevez onto his right foot. Tevez looking to shoot. Benalouan able to clear it. Lichtsteiner plays it back to Bonucci. And moves wide. Tevez to Fernando Llorente. The heel flick, improvised. Again Llorente through for Lichtsteiner. Back to Vidal. Ball trickling toward goal, and Carlos Tevez tracks it down. Tevez, 35 minutes in, scores his third goal of the Serie A season, and Juventus lead Atalanta 1-0.
Well, it's all about the patience for Juventus. Very frustrated in the opening 30 minutes of this match, but over the course of the last 5, they've created chance after chance. And look at Lichtsteiner, he doesn't stop this time. A good look along the line to keep himself onside. Full credit to Arturo Vidal as well. He puts his body in the way, stopping both defenders from getting to the ball. And then it becomes a foot race between Carlos Tevez and Zappacosta, and the Argentinian wanted it most. Very important goal for Juventus, and they take a 1-0 lead.
Well, Zappacosta with a brief moment of hesitation, and Carlos Tevez already had a full head of steam. They have yet to concede a goal, Juve. They're now 8 goals for, 0 against on the season. And Atalanta now looking to battle back. This makes it 24 consecutive games that Juventus score against Atalanta. But the last time they failed to score a Serie A match against this Bergamo side is back in 1997. That was a scoreless draw. They managed to take a point.
Oh, he's been so busy already, Carlos Tevez, in the match. Not every pass has come off from him. Not every cross has come off from him. But he has been hungry in the game, and clearly showed there with an opportunity in front of goal. And he pounced.
Well, we know we don't need a water break today. Enough stoppages in this first half to give the players plenty of rest. Just under 10 minutes left in this opening half. And it's Giuseppe Biava in possession. So Benalouan can play anywhere along the back line. Benalouan, we've seen him as a fullback, as center back, playing on either side. Biava. Zappacosta. And again, patient from Atalanta, despite giving up the goal, not changing the game plan, keeping things as they were.
Well, it's a tough test for these Juventus back players, but I'm really impressed with what they've thrown at the game so far. The aggression that's come into the match from Bonucci and Chiellini has been outstanding so far.
Not sure it's all deliberate, but everything seems to be coming off for Fernando Llorente at the moment. Good reaction on the goal as well. And play the ball through for Lichtsteiner. Lichtsteiner's excellent season continues. Here's Alejandro Gomez. Gomez against Ogbonna, slips but keeps his balance. And Ogbonna takes 2 stumbles. Forward for Boakye. Boakye with his back to goal. Lichtsteiner shields him off the ball. Good defensive play from Lichtsteiner.
That's top drawer from Lichtsteiner. Got himself back in a defensive position. Great strength to just shoulder Boakye away from the ball. Swiss international, as you mentioned, is having a fine season so far.
Well, since that fast start for Atalanta, they did manage to get 4 shots. It's been all Juventus. 3 shots on target now. And Sportiello has been tested, nearly failed one of those tests. I'm not sure you can blame him too much on the goal. But he almost spilled the ball back into his own net on a previous chance. This midfield battle is still very much up for grabs. Neither team in firm control of the central area. Ball forward for Baselli, intercepted. Right, Marchisio. Here's Pogba. Always lifts his head up, looking for options, Pogba. And an elegant run about him. Tevez. Marchisio. And Pogba. Shot is on for Pogba if he wants it. Not anymore. Here's Fernando Llorente. Left-footed shot. Takes a deflection off of Benalouan. And Sportiello gobbles it up.
Oh, good challenge this time from Benalouan. Got himself into a good position defensively. It's a simple block from the big defender. But I go back to what I said previous to the goal. That Lichtsteiner's having so much space on that right-hand side for Juventus, but yet they failed to find him enough in this match. He played a big role in the goal, and he's still finding himself with acres of space on that right-hand side.
And if anything, there seems to be a concerted effort to find Petit Sevla on the left
Well, like you mentioned as well, Llorente's playing a big role in this match already. Although not all of his touches are coming off, he's caused a lot of problems, as is Carlos Tevez.
Llorente gives and goes with for Carlos Tevez. Here's Pogba. Steps on the ball to Pogba. Tevez back to Ogbonna. Here is Lichtsteiner. Pogba, Tevez. Pogba wide to Patrice Evra. Then back for Chiellini. Again, the patient approach from Max Allegri's side. Hasn't tinkered too much with Antonio Conte's game plans. It's not broke. He can win a 4th consecutive Scudetto. All the way across, and a failed clearance by Estigarribia. Here's Paul Pogba and Fernando Llorente heading it over the crossbar. Nearly gets there, Llorente. And he does, but in an uncomfortable position as he nods it over the crossbar.
What a big chance. Full credit to Patrice Evra for winning possession, and then Paul Pogba just doesn't connect well with the ball. And Llorente, he out-jumps the goalkeeper who's coming out into no man's land to try and claim it, and almost puts the ball into the back of the net.
Well, 5 games into the season for Carlos Tevez in all competitions. He has 5 goals. Even Stefano Colantuano wants a word with Orsato. Why not? He's spoken to all the other players. Good control by Fernando Llorente. Pogba. 1-on-3. Heavy touch to the left side. Just touched away by Biava. There's Gomez. They're pushing the back from Lichtsteiner as Gomez takes a fall. Massive height and size advantage for Lichtsteiner.
Well, I think every player on the field has a height advantage over Gomez, but he's impressed so far. Very busy, always very active off the ball, and when he has the ball, a good creator so far for Atalanta, but not created enough.
A dangerous pass by Bonucci. Atalanta come up on the other side in possession. Benalouan. Biava. Forward for Baselli. Wide to Drame. Drame takes his man on. Arturo Vidal giving chase now. Drame lays it off to Gomez. It's Carmona to Drame. Drame dribbling into the area. Wanted to play the give and go. Gave but never got.
Well, it's a difficult one for Dennis to play back to him. The ball's played in with so much pace. Here's a look at the build-up again. Llorente gets a lot of the credit. He gets fortunate the ball bounces back in his favour, but Lichtsteiner does ever so well just to nip it over the top of the on-rushing goalkeeper. And Arturo Vidal puts himself so many times into a great position offensively. And like you mentioned it, Zappacosta just sleeping at the vital moment. Carlos Tevez celebrates in style.
Why not? His 22nd goal in a Juve shirt in league play. He's 38 Serie matches. 22 goal. Not a bad scoring rate. He makes so much of his work rate. Scoring rate no less impressive for Juve this than last season.
That's phenomenal. I mean, his work rate off the ball is tremendous. Always puts himself into great positions to try and pick up possession of the ball. He's a good creator, but always hungry around the top of the box to create an option and pull the trigger when he can. And there he also has that striker's instinct reaction.
Well, Chiellini wants a bit of space. It's not you, it's me, he says. Booted forward for Fernando Llorente, off the chest. And into the feet of Drame, who finds Benalouan and lays it off for Biava. Here is Zappacosta. Most of the good attacks for Atalanta have started off the feet of Zappacosta. Here he is again. Nice challenge from Pogba, and Juventus win the ball back. Here's Evra. Estigarribia wanted a foul. Orsato would have none of it. Now Carlos Tevez is running at goal. Tevez to Llorente. just gets touched away, and Llorente cannot track it down, but it is a corner kick for Juve. Well, into stoppage time in his first half. Tevez taking his time to get us restarted. And the Bergamaschi letting them know what they think of his slow trot to the corner flag. With Marchisio. Lichtsteiner back to Tevez. Marchisio had time and space to shoot but could not control. Pogba. Good touch from Pogba. Benalouan steps up. Drame sends the ball forward. Boaki is off to the races, and Roman Dennis is able to find him. And back for Drame. In support now is Daniele Baselli. Drame trying to go toward Boaki. And it's going to be a foul as Marchisio appears to be in some pain. Bona actually was taking a dip, and immediately Orsato was asked for the stretcher.
Yeah, there was no hesitation from the referee here. Clearly you could see that Ogbonna went down immediately under pain, under stress with that knee. It looks pretty serious from that angle.
Well, you never want to see a player go down without that kind of contact. And always hints at a knee injury, and a reaction from Orsato was instantaneous, as you said, Ian.
It clearly tells you that the referee is worried about the player, but the good sign is that he's back on his feet. He doesn't need the stretcher to go off. He's going to have to go off anyway.
He'll go to the nearer side.
See, have a closer look at it now. It's almost as if he's stretched out for the ball and his knees just bent back in the wrong direction.
It wasn't the plant foot. It was his right, which he was reaching out with. He seems to be ready to come back into the game at the earliest convenience.
They call it hyperextension.
Yep. Gomez onto his right foot, takes a crack and just wide of Gigi Buffon's goal, which suggests that Atalanta will close out this opening half without a shot on target.
A great opportunity for Gomez. He knows exactly what he's trying to do, is to come back on that right foot, but he's got to hit the target. Atalanta need to do a better job in that final third of testing Buffon. So far, it's been nothing.
This is the 48th minute now, with 3 of added time in this first half. There were plenty of stoppages. We are done with this opening stanza. The goal by Carlos. In fact, the last 7 games he had gone without conceding a goal. That makes it now 15 halves since Juve last gave up a goal. Last player to score against him was Simone Zaza back in April. Underway now the second half is Juve moving from left to right. No changes for either team. Alongside Ian Joy, I'm Andres Cordero. We go through a quick recap of the 22 players on the pitch. For Max Allegri, it's Buffon, Ogbonna, Bonucci, Chiellini make up the defense. Marchisio, Vidal and Pogba in central midfield. Lichtsteiner and Evra out wide, while Llorente and Tevez are up top. And this is Pogba on the ball, the no-look pass intercepted. For Atalanta, it's Sportiello in goal. Piava and Benalouan, the center-back tandem. Zappacosta and Drame are wide. Carmona, Baselli in central midfield. Estigarribia and Gomez providing a bit of width there. And Boakia alongside Dennis up top. This is Ogbonna. Gomez as Drame. Very quick start from Drame. Can change directions very rapidly.
Yeah, they just need to be a little bit more effective going forward more than anything, Atalanta. They've been good in possession of the ball up to a certain point and then just sort of have no idea.
Well, just caught out there is Paul Pogba on the run. 2 players carrying yellow cards into the second half. Marchisio picked one up in the 31st minute after Benalouan picked one up in the 20th. Atalanta still looking for as many goals in Serie A as Carlos Tevez has scored. Only scored 2 coming into this contest. In fact, the only 2 goal scorers for and Atalanta both played for Juve. Estigarribia and Boakye. There's Carlos Tevez going wide to Lichtsteiner. Lichtsteiner has support from Vidal. Goes to the end line. Back in for Vidal. Here's the Chilean inside the box. Quick with Carlos Tevez, and miscommunication as Tevez expected Vidal to make the run.
You can see exactly what he's thinking, Carlos Tevez. He's really disappointed that Vidal doesn't continue this run. Otherwise, he has a great opportunity in front of goal. Lovely build-up, though.
To be fair to Vidal, Lichtsteiner was in the area. The corner kick now for Juve with Carlos Tevez about to send a delivery. Outswinger around the penalty spot. Back into the path of Tevez, who managed to keep himself onside. They'll do it again.
Well, Carmona clears the danger this time. Very fortunate. Carlos Tevez has hit that front man twice in quick succession. Now he's got to beat that first man. There's a lot of runners inside the box for Juve.
The back post is overloaded for Juventus, and that's Arturo Vidal taking a spill just at the edge of the 6. Played short with the Chilean. Back to Carlos Tevez. The cross is on, but offside. Appears to be the call, unless there was some jostling inside the area.
Well, it looks like it's one off the training ground. Yes, Carlos Tevez just a fraction ahead of play. Good decision by the linesman.
Absolutely disjointed for the most part, the timing of this game, the pace of this contest. And will be a substitution just a few minutes into the second half as Stefano Coluntuano is deciding to take off one of this season's goal scorers in Marcelo Estigarribia. Salvatore Molina makes his way on. And another quick whistle from Orsato. Look, Herman Dennis has been in his ear, and I think Orsato may have had enough of it. He's visibly quite upset with the Atalanta captain.
It actually looks like the referee's upset with everybody on the field at the moment. He's not stopped blowing his whistle since the match begun.
Booted forward, looking for Herman Dennis. And Bonucci gives it away. One back by Evra, sent forward for Fernando Llorente. Wins the aerial battle with Biava and finds Carlos Tevez, or at least tries to.
You know, situations like that where you see how important Pavel Nedved and the upper dogs look on. And Llorente is so important just with his strength and ability to hold up possession of the ball. He causes a lot of problems for defenders, drags defenders out of position. May not be the most effective player that Juventus have ever had represent them.
There's Gomez, left-footed. We'll call it a cross shot. That's not going to catch Gigi Buffon off target.
Well, Buffon's just sitting back and relaxing and watching this match so far because he's come under absolutely no stress so far. It's been really disappointing from Atalanta. You can see why they've only scored 2 goals on their campaign so far.
And the man who's just come on, Salvatore Molina, finally getting a chance to spend some time with his parent club Atalanta. He's been sent on loan each of the last several seasons, spent a bit of time at Foggia where he made his pro debut. Barletta, Modena, now back in Serie A with Atalanta and hoping to make an impact for his club as they trail 1-0 at home to Juventus. Carlos Tevez. You're not going to outfight the Apache. Chiellini. As Evra and back to Tevez.
Just look at Carlos Tevez's position right there.
What a ball from Tevez. Here's Vidal, left-footed shot over the crossbar. As Spartiello just watches it sail.
Well, the beauty of Carlos Tevez is he's managing to pull himself out of position, creating space for his midfielders to go into, and that midfielder this time was Vidal. And there's no hesitation for him to pull the trigger. He's got to test the goalkeeper from that distance, although he is closed down very quickly by Biava. It's incredible the work rate from Carlos Tevez off the ball. Doesn't matter how deep he goes to get possession of the ball. He causes problems even when he doesn't have it.
As you saw there, once again, the centennial match for Arturo Vidal and trying to mark it with a goal. But what a ball from Carlos Tevez. Perfectly weighted, and yet strong enough to get there quick enough. Back to Chiellini. Going to look for Buffon. Buffon finds Ogbonna. Has Lichtsteiner as a release valve. And booted up by Bonucci. Similar in some ways to the start of the first half, with Juventus struggling to control, and Atalanta going to get on the score sheet. There's a poor pass from the fullback, Drame. Gomez to get us back underway. He'll play it back. Benalouan. 1-0, a deserved scoreline at the moment?
I think so. I think Atalanta haven't created enough to really deserve a goal. I mean, Buffon's had absolutely nothing to do.
Well, Pogba is tracking this down. Doesn't quite get his control, and Sportiello.
A little bit more confident going forward. Juventus, a little more possibility to score that second goal, which could be so important for Juve, but this defence has stood so strong, and it's been incredible already to watch Juventus at the beginning of the season under a new coach, seeing how they haven't conceded any goals through the aggression, through the formation, very disciplined, and they're not frightened to invest bodies forward. We clearly know that with Juve over the last seasons.
Here's Drame. The cross is on, but only as far as the clearance to Marchisio. Paul Pogba. Always with his head up, Paul Pogba, and he finds Carlos Tevez, sidesteps the referee. And Ogbonna is going to have to chase this down. It's going to get away from him. Well, usually a considerate pass from Carlos Tevez, this time a bit too heavy for Ogbonna, who's not willing to venture that far forward. Carmona will switch flanks with Biava. Biava over to Zappacosta. The new man Molina struggling to catch his footing, and it's given away. Back the other way, block in, looking for the through ball to Alejandro Gomez. Benalouan seems to have the most touches of any of the Atalanta players. Did he just get away from it? Play on. Back inside cuts Drame. Good touch by Herman Dennis. He was for Boaké. And here's Marchisio. Paul Pogba has Fernando Llorente in support. Cuts back inside. He's looking for Carlos Tevez. He finds Marchisio, who himself finds Tevez. Lichtsteiner had a major role to play in the goal. Ogbonna.
Well, just look how deep Atalanta are. They're sitting on the top of their box. They're not really putting too much pressure on Juve inside their own half. They're allowing too much respect to Juventus.
And by that token, allowing the Juve center backs to play very high up the pitch. So Ogbonna and Chiellini doing a very good job in recovery. There's Tevez to Ogbonna.
Yeah, it's incredible to see Ogbonna's position now.
Well, Llorente is inside the area. Could be on the end of this pass from Lichtsteiner. It's back to Tevez and touched away by Drame.
That's the beauty right there, Andres, of having your centre-back push forward into the opposition half. It creates another space, another body's completely open. This time it's Lichtsteiner and Tevez who link up. Great football again from Juventus.
Never a good sign when the match referee has a confused look on his face. Lichtsteiner. The cross is on for Lichtsteiner. Fernando Llorente, the intended target, and Arturo Vidal gets the second effort. He'll have a third. Llorente's header. Sportiello, very sure in the air, is a good ball for Fernando Llorente, who does very well in the air just to put this on target.
What about that for a cross from Vidal? The first cross came from him, it hit the first man. Then he gets a second opportunity on the volley, puts it into the danger zone, and that's what Llorente thrives off. He needs service inside the box.
It's the spontaneity and the improvisation from Arturo Vidal that makes him a special player. Well, Atalanta seeing plenty of possession, but nowhere near in Gigi Buffon's box. Here's Molina. Cross for Boakye, who knocks it down. Chiellini is there, so is Dennis. Contact inside the area, and no hesitation from Daniele Orsato, who points to the penalty spot. Atalanta will have a chance to tie it. And a yellow card to boot for Giorgio Chiellini.
Well, we got to have a good look at this one. Is there much contact on the challenge from Chiellini? It's a wonderful fed pass from Boakye. Is there enough contact on the player? And you'd have to say, when you dive in as a defender inside the box, regardless of how much contact is made with the player, if you touch that player, more than likely he's going to go down. What an opportunity for Atalanta, handed on a plate from Chiellini. It's a silly foul, silly challenge inside the area. I'm still not convinced that it's a 100% Stonewall penalty, but nonetheless, the referee had no hesitation. He's blew his whistle yet again, and Atalanta have a chance from the spot.
That is Herman Dennis. He does not have a goal this season. Steps up and denied by Gigi Buffon. A bit telegraphed from the striker, and Dennis will have to continue to wait for his first Serie A goal of the season as the stop is made by the veteran shot stopper. Well, back the other way now. Arturo Vidal lays it off for Fernando Llorente. He's trying to turn Llorente. Carlos Tevez. Marquisio. Through for Evra. Back to Tevez. Tevez has Lichtsteiner at the back post. Takes the shot to the near post. And he's beaten Sportelio. The creativity from Carlos Tevez makes it a brace for the match. And a 6th in all competitions on this season. Brilliant from Carlitos Tevez. The Apache gives Juventus a 2-0 advantage.
Would you believe it? An opportunity from the penalty spot in one end of the field, and automatically turned around to a goal for your team. And he deserves all the credit, Gigi Buffon. But how about the finish? It's a patient build-up yet again after the breakaway from Juve. Lichtsteiner gets himself into a great spot, dragging defenders away, but Carlos Tevez needs absolutely nobody else. One hesitation from the defender, 1 yard of space, and there's your finish right there from the Argentinian. It's a wonder goal. The Sportiello has no chance. Even though he got a hand to it, too much power. Juve take a 2-0 lead.
Into the hour mark now, and Juventus up 2-0, but Carlos Tevez looks up twice toward Lichtsteiner, looking off the goalkeeper, looking off the defenders, and then picks out that bottom corner on the near side expertly. Atalanta with some hill to climb now. 24 consecutive games that Juve have managed to score against this club, and here's Maselli trying to pull one back. And there's the man who drew the penalty, Molina. Colantuano's substitution paying off, at least in the short term, but Mandeni is unable to capitalize and convert the penalty chance. Drame looks to go wide. Biava very far up the pitch in support. And again, Baselli. Gomez, Alejandro Gomez looked to tuck that inside. And now it's Paul Pogba off to the races. Pogba with plenty of space in front of him, but steps on the ball. Molina fighting to get it back.
Well, isn't that brilliant from Paul Pogba, realizing that there's nobody ahead of him, everybody's slowed down, he puts his foot on the ball, and Juventus still have possession.
You know, it's not just Buffon who, save for that penalty, has had a relatively inactive outing. It's also Bonucci with Ogbonna and Chiellini pressing forward. They've been much more involved. Bonucci's had a pretty easy outing. Here's Chiellini. Forward for Fernando Llorente, who just can't control that. Back to Drame, who boots the ball forward, intended for Dennis. Finds its target. Here's Ogbonna. Sent forward. Bit of contact in the back of Arturo Vidal's leg. He's slow to get up. Atalanta are quick to counter. But Dennis can't track that down. Commits to foul. Herman Dennis is Patrice Evra on the receiving end. Frustration on the part of the Argentine striker. He is the most lethal weapon on this Atalanta side.
There's the challenge from Chiellini. You get a good look at it yet again. He stretches his leg out and he makes it easy for the referee to point to the spot there, but there's the save. It's wonderful from Buffon. Galantuono can't look on as well, but Buffon makes the save, and then immediately Juventus go on the attack. And the goalkeeper's caught off guard. He doesn't expect Carlos Tevez to pull the trigger from that distance when he's looking at Lichtsteiner away from goal. And how fickle this game can be. 1 minute you think you've got an opportunity back in the match, and a minute later you find yourself 2-0 down.
He scored double-digit goals each of his last 3 seasons at Atalanta, Herman Dennis. The numbers have been going down. 16, 15, 13 last season. In fact, hasn't scored a goal since May 11th. Atalanta's 2-1 win over Milan last season. And that was also from the penalty spot. Failing to convert here. I say failing to convert, but let's give credit to Gigi Buffon, who makes the save. Doesn't guess, he reacts.
Yeah, it's not as if the ball wasn't put right into the corner, because it was from Dennis. It's just Buffon guessed the right way. He got himself completely stretched out and made a fine save.
Well, back in attack now, Atalanta. But given away very quickly, and it's Vidal. Drame. Llorente and Carlos Tevez now putting pressure on, trying to win the ball back with a short field. Tevez will track it down to Sportiello. Sportiello sidesteps the Argentine international. Sent forward, and who would have thought Alejandro Gomez would win the aerial duel? Gomez goes wide to Molina. Molina has the overlapping run, instead decides for the cross, and the cross is well off the target.
Well, that's not good enough from Molina. He's got options in the box. Boyake and Dennis both making good runs. The service must come inside the area. And I think the frustration on his face tells everyone what the score is.
Well, he has to go into the bag again. There's Stefano Colantuono, and it's Cigarini who's going to make his way on. Daniele Baselli is out after 64 minutes of play. One of the more involved players in midfield for Atalanta. It was Evra with Carlos Tevez, and Tevez returns it. Marquisio. The heel flick doesn't come off. Boyake. One back now by Carlos Tevez. Tevez has Vidal. The through ball was on. Instead, he goes the opposite direction to Paul Pogba. And Zappacosta plays it out. Dennis all by himself up top, and occasionally the long ball is sent for the Argentine.
Well, it's been a good spell for Juve in the second half. Really fortunate. They can really thank Buffon for keeping them in the game at 1-0. And then immediately finding that second goal, you can breathe a huge sigh of relief. Now the players are relaxed. They've got that cushion. I'll be surprised if Allegri doesn't change a few things with the incredible tough week that Juve have coming up.
Champions League action against Atletico Madrid, the Spanish and Italian champions meeting in the group stage. That will be a real test for Juventus and for Atleti. Carlos Tevez currently acing his test, and well enough that he stops mid-play.
Well, you don't see Carlos Tevez lose his temper too much since he's been in Italy. But he's done a great job today of dropping off away from Llorente, his striker, to pick up possession of the ball. It's been brilliant from Tevez today.
And back the other way. Cigarini trying to restart things very quickly. The new substitute, Cigarini, now on a permanent deal at Atalanta. I spent some time there on loan from Napoli. Of course, he had initially transferred to Napoli from Atalanta. Spent some time with Parma. And here, speaking of Atletico Madrid, the other capital club, the other capital giants, Real Madrid, sold Alvaro Morata to Juventus this summer. Morata getting a trot now. It's Spaniard for Spaniard as Fernando Llorente comes off after 66 minutes of work. They are excited about Alvaro Morata in Turin. The young Spanish striker, still just 21 years old. Scored plenty of goals off the bench last season for Madrid. Looking to replicate that success off the bench now for Juve.
Well, it's a good substitution from Allegri. Llorente had worked his socks off up front. He hadn't had much success throughout the course of the match. Not too many opportunities for him individually. And bringing Morata onto the field brings fresh legs, a player who's trying to impress so much. You know he's going to be really tough to handle up front. It's a great signing for Juventus with Morata coming in. Just need to get him fit, get him healthy, keep him healthy, and give him a regular run out. He will score goals.
Well, given the number 9 shirt, Alvaro Morata, big step up to the former Castilla man. There is Morata. Denied by Benoluan. Paul Pogba. What an opportunity early on for Alvaro Morata. His first intervention. Half a chance. There's Morata again, now in recovery. Given away. Shirt pulled in front of Colantuano, but shielded from it was the referee Orsato. Bonucci will lay this off for Paul Pogba to create. Bona, and all the way back for Buffon. Well, in total control, Juventus to respond to giving up a penalty with a goal so quickly has to be so deflating for Atalanta.
Oh yeah, that's your way back into the match. I mean, when you're on the field as a player, you're relying heavily on your striker to get you back in the game from the penalty spot. It gives you a great opportunity at 1-1 to go on and try and pick up the 3 points, but the deflation now that these players are feeling is devastation.
Oh, still pushing forward. Here's Carmona. Intercepted by Vidal. Armandeni's fighting to get there, but Bona able to send it forward. Benoluan comes up from the box from his center back position, and that shot is, what did you call it, a center back's finish?
I think they call it a centre back's finish, yes. He does well picking up possession of the ball, but then again, he's got so many options in front of him. The two strikers are really frustrated, Boake and Dennis. They want a little feed through pass into their possession. Doesn't come off. And Benoluan tries from 35 yards out. I know we've seen one cracking goal in Serie today from a long distance in Rome, but it doesn't happen today.
How about Morata, by the way? Oh, Colantuano has been sent off, it seems. He was arguing with the fourth official a moment ago, and perhaps the officiating crew have had enough. It was at the end of Arturo Vidal's 100th game in Serie. Well, Vidal off. Roberto Pereira steps into central midfield in his place. Unable to add to his 2-goal tally. Vidal with a good nearly 70 minutes of work for the Chile international.
Yeah, excellent, Vidal. He brings another dimension to this Juventus side. There's no reason why they wouldn't fight tooth and nail to keep a hold of him, because he's such an important player for Juventus' success going forward. Excellent performance today.
Well, Roberto Pereira will get 20 minutes of work. Juve comfortably in front. Well, just 2 points in their last 19 Serie A games against Juve for this Atalanta side. It doesn't look as though they're going to pick one up here, but 20 minutes to turn things around. And worth mentioning, Juve have won the last 7 visits to this stadium, working on number 8. Put it forward for Armandeni's. Chiellini is the first man there. Won't take any chances. He plays it out to touch.
I mean, the greatest thing about Juventus' backline is it's a no-nonsense backline. They're not looking to impress too many people by smart plays with ball at their feet or even defensively. They just take no chances, no risks.
Alvaro Morata now in possession and off to the races as well with Paul Pogba in support. Pogba wins his back. Lichtsteiner. Pass intended for Lichtsteiner, but here's Ogbonna. Good game for Marquisio in place of Pirlo. Has been very solid in that midfield, and he finds Evra. Put it forward. Morata, the intended target. He's in a foot race with Biava, and he wins it. The supporting run is on from Carlos Tevez. Tevez near the penalty spot. Tevez from the penalty spot. Gets his foot over the ball and he's disappointed with himself.
Well, that's the difference that Morata brings to this game. Lovely pace on the left-hand side up against Biava. He gets fortunate with a cross. It takes a deflection on its way to Carlos Tevez. And he's not happy himself with that strike.
Molina plays it wide for Zappacosta. Intended cross from Zappacosta, but a good sliding challenge from Patrice Evra. Well, another stoppage and another booking from Orsato. And Salvatore Molina hasn't been on the pitch for too long, but he's picked up a yellow card, and he is now the second Atalanta man on a caution, joining Benalouan. Chiellini forward for Pogba, just can't control Paul Pogba.
Well, you look at the remainder of this match, the 18 to 20 minutes with extra time that we do have. You see it very difficult for Atalanta to try and break down this back line. It really is so strong. And Juve obviously got a big week ahead of them with Atleti and then Roma. That's where the test is really going to come.
There's Drame, and the sliding challenge from Lichtsteiner is out to touch. Quickly in for Boaki. Boaki against two. Lichtsteiner wins the ball. Leaves it off for Ogbonna, and Boaki is still insisting. Cleared out of danger. No one up top for Juventus. Look how far forward Sportiello would come. Benalouan. Good touch from Benalouan. Carlos Tevez knows it. Laid back Cigarini. Goes wide, but a little bit of a lazy pass and a late challenge from Evra. Just doesn't quite get there. And he too goes in the referee's book.
Well, it's a hopeful challenge from Patrice Evra. He's been a decent performer today for Juve. But this time the pass just comes ever so lightly for Atalanta out wide. Molina takes that first contact, and clearly there's contact there made from Evra. No question about it. Last throw of the dice for Atalanta with only 50 minutes left on the clock.
Second half in particular with Juventus up, Evra has been a lot further back. Then we see the likes of Asamoah and Lichtsteiner usually at the fullback spot or at the wing-back spot for Juve. Of course, so accustomed to playing in that four-man backline at Manchester United all those years. It's Bianchi who's coming on for the third and final substitution for Atalanta. Alejandro Gomez's day is done. Gomez, who was playing in Ukraine for medalists, and started to feel a little bit nervous about the growing tensions in the civil war. He was very vocal about his fears, and actually that drove the price down enough for Atalanta to be able to afford him. Here's Atalanta looking for an equalizer, but the cross from the free kick only finds the head of Ogbonna.
So I don't see there much wrong from that challenge from Bianchi. Does a good job there. You can see Lichtsteiner just having a little word with Benalouan. But Bianchi just goes a little bit too aggressive into it. He's only just come onto the field, obviously looking to impress.
Well, again, only one player currently on the pitch for Atalanta has a goal this season in Serie A, and that is Richmond Boaki, the Juventus man on loan. Ogbonna streaking into the area. The through ball was on there for Alvaro Morata. And a rugby tackle from Drame. It's Boaki who's made his way all the way up. Well, there's Drame. Pereira on the receiving end as he looks to shield the ball, and he gets bowled over by Drame. "15 minutes, or just under 15 minutes left in regulation, a 2-0 advantage, but Max Allegri does not look altogether comfortable.
Well, it's a dangerous scoreline. Obviously, we know that Atalanta have made a couple of substitutions now. They're really throwing everything at this match to try and get a goal, but It's hard to see from where that goal's going to come from. It's a good substitution bringing Bianchi onto the field. He will cause some problems, but he also needs some service. Balls like that are just not going to work out for Atalanta.
Benalouan under pressure from Carlos Tevez. Tevez still nipping at the heels of Benalouan. Zappacosta. Bianchi takes a tumble inside the central midfield area. Mondrame. And crosses on to the back post. Bianchi up with Chiellini. The shot over the crossbar, and another chance goes begging for Atalanta. This time it's Salvatore Molina.
Now what a chance. Good ball into the box. Bianchi does well by using his strength, and as it falls to Molina, it's a hopeful attempt. Bianchi at the top of the box just comes into your picture on the left-hand side. Maybe in a better position for a simple tap-in. A little layoff. And it doesn't work out for Atalanta. You can clearly see that confidence is not flowing through the veins of these players.
Credit where it's due. It's an excellent first touch from Molina to settle it onto his foot, but the shot not quite up to the same standard. Chiellini. Changing flanks to Lichtsteiner. His touch is a bit behind him, and here is Drame going forward. A sliding challenge early on from Marchisio. Does very well defensively, Marchisio there. Here's Pereira. Square ball for Carlos Tevez. Tevez has options to his left and his right. Opts to go with Alvaro Morata on his left. Morata is Paul Pogba in support. Goes to the end line. Just shielded off the ball there by Zappacosta. Good work from the fullback against the big Morata. Another foul in midfield. Bianchi unhappy with this decision. It's going to be a free kick for Juventus.
Well, Bianchi's looking for the contact from Chiellini, who duly obliges. It's a good battle between these two. That's 50-50. They're both tugging at each other's jersey. Juve win the call.
It seems an inordinate amount of this game has been spent with players fighting for an aerial ball. Benalouan goes all the way back to Sports Yellow.
It's tough places to go and play for Juventus. I know they have a great record against Atalanta, but it's not an easy place to go and play. You've still got to get the job done, and it hasn't been pretty for Juve. But they've scored the vital goals that matter most.
Sprayed out wide for Zappacosta. Back into Cigarini. Neat touch by Cigarini, but cleared away. Still flying onto the pitch occasionally. Benalouan. Drame. Very good with the ball at his feet, Drame, and it's more than we can say in that particular occasion for Boakie. Lack of concentration late on here for Atalanta. Boakie looked like a player who might already be on the team bus. Here he is again, looking to redeem himself. Switching flanks. Zappacosta with Molina. Cigarini. Zappacosta again. Evra does very well to find Morata. Morata with his head down. Dispossessed, but still making the run. He wanted the ball in. Gets it late on, but he's on the challenge from Benalouan. Wins it back for Atalanta. Drame. Still tireless is Carlos Tevez as he tracks from one player to the other, looking to put pressure and cause a turnover.
Yeah, his work rate is outstanding. I mean, when he doesn't have possession of the ball, he's a team player. Even when he has possession of the ball, he's still that team player. He really has been incredible since his arrival in Italy.
Chiellini pushes that beyond the end line for a corner kick for Atalanta. Could this be the set piece that produces a goal?
Well, it's a tricky one to deal with from Chiellini. It takes the slightest of deflections. And I think rather than take a gamble that your goalkeeper's going to come out and claim it, you may as well clear it.
Marchisio wins it in the air, and Ogbonna sends it forward. Booted by Zappacosta, and not a real test for Buffon once again.
Disappointing effort from Zappacosta. It's been a disappointing second half from him as well. He hasn't got forward as frequent as he did in the first 45 minutes. Not as effective. And that really was their outlet in the first half, Atalanta, up until the second goal. He was the main man, the main focus that Atalanta relied heavily on to try and feed the ball out to. It's been disappointing in the second half.
Well, inside of the final 10 minutes now, Juventus currently holding on to the top spot provisionally in the standings. The 2 goals in this contest pushing them up to a +9 goal difference, level on 15 points with Roma. And of course, if Atalanta managed to pull one back, gets a little bit dicier for Juve. Here's Carlos Tevez looking to make sure none of that matters. Lichtsteiner. But as things stand, the 2-0 puts Juve right back atop the standings. Pereira with the cross. Alvaro Morata is on the score sheet. The Spaniard gets his first goal in Serie A. The move from Real Madrid to Juventus for more playing time. He was scoring off the bench for Madrid. He's now scoring off the bench for the old lady. Juve up 3-0 on 83 minutes, and it's Alvaro Morata on the end of the cross.
Oh, what a goal. Again, the build-up. Carlos Tevez, Lichtsteiner involved in a substitute, Pereira, linking with the other substitute, Alvaro Morata. And I mentioned it before, how important a signing this is for Juventus, to have a player who can come off the bench and make a difference. This man could well be it. What a finish, great build-up, good cross. And Morata gets his goal. Welcome to Italy.
Oh, the Madrid Castilla product scored 8 goals for Real Madrid last season. He gets his first for Juventus now in Serie A. And 7 minutes left in regulation as Atalanta surely will suffer the defeat. It would take something special to keep Juve from the top of the table.
Well, that's going to feel good for Morata. That's going to do his confidence the world of good.
He scored in his last league match for Real Madrid. Did Alvaro Morata. Scored a brace actually in Madrid's 3-1 win over Espanyol. He's waited some time. Will not have to wait too long to get his first Serie A goal. Sent back in again, looking for Morata. Paul Pogba tracking this down. Carmona with the clearance. And it's an important goal for Morata for his confidence. He'll be celebrating in Madrid and Turin. Carlos Tevez has put in a phenomenal 84 minutes of work. He comes off to make way for one of the new sensations, one of the other new sensations of Juventus. We've already seen Morata on the score sheet. Could Kingsley Coman follow suit as well? Stormed out of the gate in Serie A with Juve early on, the teenager. An opportunity now in the final 5 minutes of regulation.
Great to see him get his opportunity in a match like this. You've got a comfortable lead, you might as well give the youngster another chance. You know, Juventus jersey has impressed already. Still a young boy, 18 years old. There's a lot to learn, but there's a lot of talent on the field for Juventus to learn from, and Carlos Tevez was outstanding today. Terrific performance.
Well, Max Allegri's substitutions certainly paying off as one found the other on the goal. Pereira's cross met by Alvaro Morata, and both coming off the bench.
Well, just look at, the difference between Juventus last season to this season, the players that they were bringing off the bench, Quagliarella's, Vucinic, players like that.
Osvaldo. Alvaro Morata looking for a second. Tripped up by Biava. Just lost his footing. Here's Chiellini. And still Juventus have not conceded a goal in Serie A, wrapping up their 5th match in Il Calcio this campaign.
Well, it's been a great performance. I think you have to give a lot of credit to Juventus, of course, with the team selection first and foremost. That tells you how serious they were taking this match.
Pogba stayed on side, or did he? Flag goes up. Well, no Andrea Pirlo, no problem for Juve today. 3 goals on the score sheet, none conceded, as Marchisio, Vidal, Pogba all putting in good work in midfield. Daniele Orsato again not happy with the start. He's had a quick whistle all day today, the referee. What do you make of Max Allegri's start? Criticized in the summer, not necessarily him, but the appointment. Antonio Conte leaving by his own will. Max Allegri steps in after, let's call it a bad breakup at Milan.
Well, he had a great reputation in Italy. You know, obviously, when you get fired by a football club, it never works in your favour for the next job. I think he can count himself very lucky that Conte decided to take the Italian national team job, because he was the next one that you really could turn to immediately for Juventus to a point. And he's done such a terrific job. Many people don't expect him to be in this position for a long time at Juventus. But I think if they keep on winning games, especially the way they're playing, they've got a lot of options now, in particular off the bench. There's quality there now, real quality, who can come on and make a difference. You know, Juve still need to challenge for the Champions League. That's what they need to do to take that next step. Of course, they're still favourites in Serie A, but I've been very impressed with Allegri. Today's team selection tells you everything. He could have gone for a few changes into the lineup because of the big matches coming up against Atleti and against Roma. But this match is the most important one, and that's great to see from Allegri.
Well, Lichtsteiner there to make the interception, the push in the back from Boakye. And another free kick for Juventus.
You know, Andres, you also need a little bit of luck on your side along the way to a match like this. You know, Buffon makes that save. It's the only effort that Atalanta have had on target throughout the course of the match, and he comes up big with that save. And then immediately you go down and score the second goal, and the game's over.
Absolute work of art from Carlos Tevez on that goal. Sells the goalkeeper on the cross, and there could be more for Juventus. Pereira plays it wide to Lichtsteiner, tracks it down. The cross is on the near post. Alvaro Morata was there, but the ball was not. Gigi Buffon saved both of his last 2 penalties faced in Serie A, and today's perhaps telegraphed a bit, but it was so close to that post. And you say he guessed right. I get the sense there was not enough pace on that ball, and he reacted.
Yeah, it was a disappointing strike, no question about that. But as a goalkeeper, there's always some gamble involved in it.
Well, Lichtsteiner gives the ball away to Benalouan into the final minute of regulation now. And very many reasons for Benalouan to be frustrated, fewer for Lichtsteiner. He's been an undisputed starter, both under Antonio Conte late last season and under Max Allegri now. He started every single match so far in Serie A for the Bianconeri. Lichtsteiner just gets taken out by Cigarini.
He's so important. You know, criticised over the last couple of years his final product, which has improved over the last 12 months.
4 minutes of added time here. And Juve looking for a fourth. Marchisio with a delivery. Back post headed by Pogba. Headed down, but the shirt grab on Benalouan is going to be a free kick to Atalanta.
Well, he's been great again. Pogba, I'm not quite sure he needs that much of an advantage pushing down on Benalouan. His fellow countryman.
Showing off his gymnastic skills, Paul Pogba. Abona. And all the way back, and there's Bianchi tracking this down. Credit to Atalanta, fighting until the final minute. It's clumsy from Boakye.
Well, you can see the Atalanta players are really frustrated with Lichtsteiner. He's won so many free kicks for Juventus on this right-hand side. They're starting to lose their temper towards the Swiss man.
Oh, another opportunity coming on the end of this one, but it's whistled back quickly. Combination between Drame and Boakye. Closed down by Lichtsteiner. Herman Dennis hasn't seen as much of the ball as he would like in this second half. Missed the penalty before Tevez' goal. Here's Dennis again. Surrounded by black and white shirts. All the way back for Benalouan. Carlos Tevez in the 35th minute. Tevez again in the 59th. And Alvaro Morata in the 83rd. The goal scorers for a Juventus side, taking all 3 points yet again from a visit to Atalanta. That's a pretty good summation of this entire match right there as far as Atalanta is concerned. Occasionally chippy. Haven't been good enough in front of goal today.
Another game without conceding a goal. And that's exceptional from Juve's point of view. Every team is finding it difficult to break down this terrific back line. And there's a lot of options there now, and Barzagli's still yet to come back to full fitness.
Morata with Pereira. Lichtsteiner. Here's Ogbonna. Notice Ogbonna and Chiellini always come up to that same level, even with Marchisio forming a three-man line of defense in case of the counterattack. Close look at Coleman.
Well, it's not just the attacking line that Juve have got their options, it's also defensively. As I mentioned, Barzagli, Cáceres, alongside the three that played today and played ever so well. Ogbonna's really impressed me when he stepped in. He's done a great job.
Given away, here's Pogba. With space in front of him, Alvaro Morata making the run on the inside. Pogba steps on the ball. Back to Marchisio. Goes wide with Evra. Again, hasn't ventured forward much. Pereira. Final minute of stoppage time as Juventus continue their perfect start to the Serie A season. Will they also remain perfect next week? They take on Roma. That's a good pass in for Lichtsteiner. He wanted it a little bit earlier. Well, that will do it for Daniele Orsato, who blows the final whistle on these 90 minutes of Serie A action. Juventus, again, perfect on the day. Carlos Tevez, maybe the most perfect among the Max Allegri side, celebrating another 3 points in Serie A, and Juventus